Oh, what's happening, Outrage Daytime crew? Alright, we've been working on getting this sleep schedule changed over the past couple of days. What's up, Mr. Lavanya? What's crack-a-lacking? We're going to see if this little time slot works better for us. Works better for the Outrage Chancellor's liver. His longevity, if you will. Alright, are we looking good? Are we sounding good? I was trying to get the lights coordinated here. Trying to get a good look on it. I almost forgot to plug in my goddamn microphone before I went live. But glad to be with you. When I'm not fucking tired from, going out there and, hustling up rent money all goddamn day. Oh shit, what up Dave Krennic? What up Cactus Jack? Yeah, I knew Cactus was out there struggling to see the Outrage cast late at night. Alright, he's over there on that East Coast living. It was commendable he tuned in at all at the goddamn 3 a.m. start time. Miss Lavanya says it's 8 p.m. there in London. Well, that's cool. That's cool. So Bradley Murray will still be able to tune in. All right, I think it was the late night Outrage cast. That was that early morning Outrage for the limey Outrage pirates out there. And so we're adjusting things, we're tweaking things, we're gonna get to it, ladies and gentlemen. All right, I'm just getting over a little bit of adjustment sickness here. I feel like I'm kind of jet lagged because like the past 2 nights I've been struggling to turn my goddamn brain off before midnight. Oh, the Outrage Chancellor, his brain is firing at all cylinders when it's midnight time, dude. So I fucking slammed 4 beers in a row and I took a hit of weed and, doing everything I goddamn could to quiet down the carnival ride, that goes on when the Outrage Chancellor lays down in bed before midnight. Then the carnival begins, as Doug Stanhope says. Skeezer says the other time is better. I got shit to do at this time. Well, we'll fluctuate back and forth. I'm still gonna get the the hankering to put down some natty lights, put down some beers, take some shots with the Outrage crew on that late night tip. But for the most part, I like this. I think we're gonna have a little better chances of growing the stream, at least because I have a big goddamn Old Glory America. I have 2 American flags behind me. And nobody who lives in goddamn America can even stay up without the use of amphetamines to watch the goddamn Outrage cast. Dave Krennic says, try Soma. It helps me. Well, that's in the Vedic text there. Have you been reading the goddamn Bhagavad Gita, Dave Krennic? Oh, my God. I like melatonin. But Heaven took the last melatonin and then offered me melatonin and was like, oh, I took the last one. Damn it! What's up, Aaron Freeman? Heaven is, she's out doing some kind of work. All right, we passed that rent threshold, ladies and gentlemen. I think that was partially the reason I couldn't get to sleep, even after slamming 4 beers and hitting that weed, dude. I ended up doing a bunch of push-ups and going to the goddamn 24-hour little gas station food mart over there and get me some goddamn sugary-ass protein cookies. Hitting them late night push-ups, dude. Yeah, Cactus Tech says, 90% of the Outrage crew is foreign. Yeah, we can't expect to grow to critical mass as much as I love the goddamn, the Australians and the New Zealanders. They can only be so interested in defending Western civilization, I could imagine. Cactus Tech says, what's the situation with Heaven? Well, not much has changed. We're still amiable. We did get in a big heated blowout argument the past few days, and Kevin Pollard, got rowdy when he came in here, but it's all been smoothed over, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we got our rent threshold crossed. All right, we're relaxing. All right, she's things are the road is starting to become rockier with the pussy eater, as I predicted. All right, he's a very unstable individual. All right, and putting up with the Outrage Chancellor's, his joking and his, his roasting. It's a lot easier than putting up with somebody's antidepressant, wild-ass fluctuations in behavior. What's up, Leo Juarez? He says, it looks like I've been on a binge. Well, I've been trying to get some goddamn sleep past couple of days. I've been shifting over on that goddamn sleep schedule, Dad. It's a tough task when you're as used to I have been the past, 4 or 5 months, staying up till 3, 4 in the morning. I had that 2-day turnaround, all right? I need to get in the gym after this and work some of this out. Work some of the kinks out, ladies and gentlemen. William Vanya says, is Heaven's bit on the side Chinese? Are you talking about the other dude? No, he looks just like me, but with longer hair and more wristbands, and he gets way more excited about eating pussy than the Outrage Chancellor. Cactus Jack says, how's the lifting been? Pretty good. I've been staying on the routine schedule, increasing lifts. All right, I'm moving up to what is it? 70 pounds around my waist doing dips, and 25 pounds doing chin ups. We're moving on up. All right, little by little. But the Outrage Chancellor still has his ectomorph frame. Work in progress. All right, just like convincing the leftist population that, there's not a white supremacist hiding around every corner to shoot you. And I don't know if you saw in New York, apparently I think it was in Times Square or something, there was like a backfire of a car, and everybody thought, it was the next mass shooting attack. And it's like, it's just about as hysterical as, people not going in the ocean at all because of shark attacks. Jaws is gonna get me, the evil whites. And we're gonna get into the actual mass shooting statistics here. All right, and we're gonna get into the hysteria surrounding Tucker Carlson and his comments on the white supremacy hoax going on. Skeezer says, Heaven too up and down with me. I would have booted for him. He would have booted her a long time ago. She drives me nuts. Yeah. Well, I have a very high tolerance for, should you say, erratic behavior. All right, I'm used to erratic individuals being around me, so it seems normal. And I'm usually so even keel that it's like it balances out. But, ultimately, I do wish I could live by my goddamn self, but you gotta pay these goddamn Hollywood rents. All right, so we need a roommate for the time being. All right, I am getting a little monetary boost from the head manager here. He's gonna hook me up with a little bonus for renting out one of the apartments. All right, little by little, we're working our way into the Jewish conspiracy. Now I just need an agent. I need an entertainment lawyer. I need a manager. But yeah, hopefully, this we'll get a lot more a lot less hysterical reactions from Heaven doing this in the middle of the day, and she'll be able to get some goddamn sleep at night. All right, and get on that regular human being goddamn sleep schedule. Oh yeah, it's not just sharks that freak me out about the goddamn ocean. The first time I ever went in the ocean, I was in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We took a little vacation out there, and I was, hanging out with my grandmother on the beaches, and it was a beautiful, wonderful day. It was the first time I'd ever seen the Atlantic Ocean, and dude, I stepped into that goddamn tide, and I felt a sting near my dick area. And I had been stung by what I can only assume was a micro jellyfish of some sort. I got stung in my goddamn dick the very first time I walked into the goddamn Atlantic Ocean. So I'm not a fan of the ocean, dude, but I recognize the unlikelihood of being attacked by a shark. But most people don't understand statistics. They operate on emotional hysteria, and they, you know, get hyped up by whatever the media tells them to get hyped up about. And so, you know, the mass gang shootings that go on every weekend in Chicago, that goes vastly underreported. And, you know, when a goofy ass demon worshiping idiot opens fire at a Walmart or in Dayton, Ohio, oh my God, it's the end of the goddamn planet as we know it. You know, 20 people died. Dude, 3 times that die every goddamn weekend in Chicago. It's not any less tragic, but it's also not a justification to give up all of your personal freedoms and lay down and just accept the tyranny running your goddamn consciousness. Just plug me into the government matrix. That's all I need. Just make all my decisions for me. And, oh, please strip me of my liberty. You've already stripped me of the 4th Amendment. Please just, oh, we need that they're coming for the First Amendment too. I know all the things that I'm not supposed to say online, and I steadfastly avoid those things. And I'm just so frightened of guns in general. And just, anytime somebody mentions a gun, oh my God, no. But I really like the hyper violent Hollywood movies. That's really exciting for me. But you know, anybody who knows how to operate a gun in real life and defend themselves, well, oh my God, it's the pinnacle of evil. What's up, Bradley Murray? Yeah, I'm hoping that, you know, I can. I think I may have been contributing to the erratic behavior of Bradley Murray. Maybe I'm wrong. But, you know, it used to be morning time when I started streaming and started drinking beer. So I don't know if Bradley Murray was drinking beers with me in the morning. But it ended up in, you know, his neighbor getting a goddamn bump on his head like Looney Tunes. All right, when he got the laptop cracked over his head from Bradley Murray. And the bump grows on his head like goddamn Wile E. Coyote, dude. Oh, yeah. Did I listen to Bernie on Joe Rogan? I got through about half of it before I realized that Joe Rogan knows less than nothing about economics, and so we weren't going to get any legitimate pushback on any of Bernie Sanders' horseshit communist, you know, fantasy land ideas. Everything's, oh, this should happen, and it would really be nice if this would happen, and you know how we should make it happen? You have to give the federal government more power. I need vastly more power. I know we have the biggest, most out of control, most inefficient, bloated, indebted government in the history of the planet right now, but it's not big enough, if you ask me. If you ask me, that's the problem. The federal government doesn't control enough. We haven't fucked up enough of the country. Give me the reins and I'll fuck it up even more. Just let me tell you, Joe. Oh, we need a $15 minimum wage and we're going to go after these goddamn rich people. And meanwhile, Joe's one in the rich tax bracket that Bernie's talking about, and he still has no fucking, you know, competence or ability to push back on anything. And so it's just like, oh, that sounds nice, and I mean, no questions about who's going to pay for it or how you're actually going to tax the rich. It's a goddamn impossibility to fucking tax the rich. They have resources to avoid the taxation, and they work with government to get the tax breaks, ladies and gentlemen. They have resources to move their entire operations overseas, which is what a lot of the big corporations have done. They, you know, Nike and, you know, Apple moving to China and everything. That's what they do. Whenever you set up a tax disincentive to have your company. Now, this is one of the drawbacks of middle of the day streaming, ladies and gentlemen. We hear the beep beep beep. All right. That is not a Brinks truck, all right? If you'd like to help the Outrage Chancellor back up the Brinks truck, all right, it's paypal.me/Outrage TV. But, you know, that's a delivery truck to the goddamn Hollywood and Highland Center. Right by where I live. So we're going to close this goddamn window. And now I got to bring this fan over here. But yeah, it's just so enraging hearing retarded communist ideas be floated to somebody who has no clue what the problem with it is, because it all sounds nice and fluffy and friendly, and Bernie, he just wants to help people. He's just here to help us all. That's what he's about, and it's nothing nefarious about it. There's never been any problems with socialism in history. I mean, that's never gone bad, and it's not communism, because that's just a fake label that gets thrown at these loving socialists. I mean, they're democratic socialists. I mean, what's the deal? You voted for it. It's a democratic system, okay? You voted for the tyranny, and so that makes it good. So it's super frustrating just hearing no rational pushback on, number one, the coercion involved with what Bernie Sanders proposes. Everything is, we got to put a gun to somebody's head to make it happen, or else it's not going to happen. Put a fucking gun to the head! He's all coked up and shit. It's the only way he can get out of bed in the morning. And number two, it doesn't even practically work. When you take away the productive classes' resources and try to redistribute them to the non-productive classes, guess what? Everybody starves. We don't have any innovation. John TV says, so are you coming on tonight too? No, I gotta sleep sometime, all right? The Outrage Chancellor, he can't burn the candle at both ends, all right? Sometimes we're gonna do the midday coffee streams. Sometimes we're gonna do the late night beer streams, all right? We're gonna mix it up, all right? Try to hit both time slot audiences here and commingle and coexist. If you want to know when I'm going live, either get on the Discord, get on the Outrage Discord, which I will post the link to here. Either get on the Discord or follow me on Instagram at Nick Jordan himself. And I'm gonna try to go live. Oh, and by the way, let me share this out on Facebook. I'm gonna try to go live on the Instagrams, and I just sounded like such a boomer right there. The Instagrams. I'm gonna go live. I sounded like Robert Mueller there. Can you repeat the question about the Instagrams? What about the Instagrams? I didn't write the report. Why are you asking me questions about it? Can you repeat the question? I'm going to be try to go live on the Instagrams to let motherfuckers know when I'm going live on the YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. So let's share this out on the Facebook real quick, because, some of the people on my Facebook, they might actually be awake to tune in. Oh. Alrighty. There it is. What are we doing here? Share it. Cactus Jack says, did Joe take Bernie to the isolation tank? Well, that's where Bernie Sanders' ideas have been developed, deep in the recesses of his cobwebbed commie head. All right, and that's his own little isolation tank that he's curated. Oh yes, everything works out perfectly in Bernie's head. There's no rational implementation that works, but in my head, everybody becomes nice when we do communism. They're gonna work just as hard without any profit motive. Oh, I don't even like thinking of that word, profit. Oh my God, it just makes me want to do lines and lines and lines of cocaine until I can forget about the profit and start getting back on track, taking advantage of people and taking power for myself. That's what I need. We need, I know the federal government is big and bloated, and we're indebted and $20+ trillion in debt. We have the biggest government the world's ever seen, but God damn it, the problem is it's not big enough. The burnouts need free pussy. Dave Crannick's on that lunch break. What's up, Mars Hot? Did I watch the Good Boys trailer? Went from 1984 to Minority Report. Oh, was that the Seth Rogen debauchery there, where we just watch 12-year-old kids try to have sex and do drugs, and isn't it just wholesome? I got the gist reading that synopsis, and yeah, I'm not even gonna give him another view on the trailer there. And yeah, I should sign up for Fourth Wall. Let me just sign up real quick live on the stream, so I don't because sometimes I'll check in at 2 in the afternoon and all the slots will already be fucking full. But I do want to go on stage tonight. Oh, looks like Kevin Power Jr. is up there on the lineup. I've been repeatedly trying to shame him into getting on stage more often, and it seems like my shame tactics are working. I don't know. Kevin Power's really talented. He could be a good stand-up if he wants to, but you got to take your own impulse. You got to take your own impetus. You got to, get on the horse yourself. You can't have anybody else dictate what you want, what they want your dreams to be, or what you got to be self-motivated to get on stage every goddamn night, or it's not going to work out. Cactus Check says Owen Benjamin banned from YouTube. Let me just Google that up. Banned Instagram. What did he get banned from? I know he was on the Instagram a lot. Dave Crannick says, on paper, communism and socialism is great, but as soon as you put the human factor in the mix, all hell breaks loose. Yeah, you have to turn people into robots that have no incentive or desire to improve their own lives. Everybody wants to be rich, dude. Everybody wants to have a fleet of goddamn Ferraris. All human desires are infinite. All resources are limited. So you can't just delegate up to the government to siphon out all the resources equally, and oh my God, because then the government, they're going to be the ones that are having a fleet of Ferraris. They're going to be the ones that are exploiting everyone. And that's why, you see the socialist and communist dictators, they live in opulent wealth while the majority of the country lives in squalor because the resources have been taken away from the productive classes from the Pareto principle. 20% of the population creates 80% of the results. And so you take away those resources from that 20% that's created 80% of the prosperity in the goddamn country. Well, that prosperity dissolves in short order. And of course, the government doesn't produce any prosperity. All they do is, Machiavellian, manipulate and shift things around and sit on their throne and, have this power complex that they can dictate the human actions of, 320 million people in America all at once. Oh, I can figure out what the interest rates need to be, and it's all this Jewy assumptions on the Federal Reserve. Don't worry, we have high IQ and chutzpah, and we'll figure it out. And don't worry, just pat you on the head, tax cattle. You don't have your own free will, and we will determine your life for you. It's like a caste system. Oh, you're determined to be a plumber. We don't give a goddamn what you choose to do or what your preferences are. It's not about your preferences. All right? It's not about free will. It's not about freedom. All right? It's about being equal with everyone else. Doesn't matter if you have a higher IQ or you work harder than anybody else. You're going to be the same little government cog. We're going to shape you into a government cog. You're going to turn the wheels. You're going to be a nice little cog in the machine. Isn't it fun? Okay, Check says look up his YouTube channel. Owen Benjamin. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, getting fired up. I got a little runoff here. Little runaway nose runoff. was definitely starting to get sick. All right, but heaven came through. All right, she bought me 2 big ass chicken garden salads. If you didn't know, Buffalo Wild Wings has some pretty goddamn good salad. Surprisingly. All right, lots of vegetables in there. All right, lots of protein. All right, and I had a goddamn whey protein shake, and I'm having the espresso right now, and the sickness is starting to flow out of me. Starting to feel better. All right, Owen Benjamin YouTube. Well, it looks like most of the videos have been taken down, but I know I think he took them down voluntarily, because people were complaining. I saw on an Instagram post he did, it was like, oh, I usually watch your videos, and he's like, well, you should have downloaded them when I told you. I don't know if he was talking about actually being banned, or, because I know he was taking his most recent streams and putting them over on the, on whatever it's called, the unauthorized.tv. Bradley Murray says, just chilling, bro. Lent my little bro my car, so a little on edge. Well, hopefully your little bro is not as full of dragon energy as Bradley Murray. He's not out there, evading police. Dave Koenig says there will always be alphas and betas. That's how evolution works. Yeah. There will be people that are more competent at any given skill than anybody else. It's the Pareto principle, dude. 20% of the people in a given system will produce 80% of the results. You're going to have some more competent people. And to pretend that, we're all equal is the height of retardation. And I don't even think the leftists believe it. It's this resentful idea of dumbed down individuals that want to cast aside the accomplishments and competence of other people and pretend like that was nothing and pretend like anybody could do it. Like, you see this with Donald Trump a lot of the times. Not many people could do what Donald Trump did. All right? Going into running for president for the very first time in an official way, coming in, calling out the media for how disingenuous and fake they are, coming in and saying, oh, we need to take care of this immigration crisis, and knowing he's going to be called a racist. Taking all of that every day on end, the endless fucking cycle of like dump trucks full of hate dumped on his head every single goddamn day. And the left talks about, oh my God, we're against hate and love Trump's hate. Well, don't you hate Donald Trump? Isn't that your whole, identity? But not many people could take on the political establishment and win on their very first try, dude. That takes a little bit of competence. But they will never admit it. Oh my God, he's such a dummy. Because he made a typo on Twitter. Oh boy. Yeah, Cactus Jack says he's such an idiot. He doesn't realize no one will watch him without YouTube. Well, I see what the impetus is to create a competing platform, but until we reduce the size of government, it's just not going to happen. You're not going to have anybody that's going to be able to compete with YouTube and these big tech companies. They just have the monopoly cinched up, And so I don't know what you do. Because the outrage chancellor is inevitably going to get, they're going to come for us, all right, once we get bigger. And I don't know what you do. Yeah, I mean, to have a backup server where, you grow your audience on YouTube and then you invite those people to, the other server. I mean, it seems like I wouldn't do it voluntarily just based on some resentful thing on YouTube, like we're boycotting YouTube. It's like, no, you got to go on the, like Alex Jones says, you got to go on the enemy platforms and fight back. But when you do that, you will inevitably be struck down. And it just underscores everything you've ever said. And new people will come into the fold just like I have. Owen Benjamin and Alex Jones get banned. I'm coming right behind them. All right? I am Alex Jones. I am Owen Benjamin. I am Spartacus. All right? It's like shark's teeth, dude. We just keep regenerating the goddamn freedom-minded individuals of the country. We will never be beaten. All right, because we got all the dragon energy. We got all the truth behind us. We got the truth powering us. And it resonates with people way more than the goddamn, identity politics horseshit where you just cast into a category based on your immutable characteristics. And that's who you are. What are you, some kind of white supremacist? You want to, maintain your own culture as a white person? Oh my God, the rhetoric that's been spewed, dude, over these goddamn shootings. Oh, the white supremacy. Just because the El Paso guy, even if that manifesto was even his writing, which I have a lot of questions about. Let's say it was. Okay, he hated illegal immigrants. Is that white supremacy? What does that have to do with white supremacy? He might have been a little racist toward Mexican people, but oh my God, if you want to preserve your own culture, you're Hitler. It's so dumb, dude. All right, see you, Johnny TV. What up, Dirt Wee? Glad to see you, baby. Yeah, Dirtweed, he likes these afternoon streams, dude. That's how I started the stream on these afternoon endeavors here. And then we slowly drifted into late night outrage with the goddamn drinking binges. And a lot of the reason I had to stop it is I couldn't afford the beers anymore. I mean, you get to, drinking 3, 4, 5 beers a night, it gets pricey, dude. I got other bills to pay. All right? Got to stay healthy. Got to stay sharp, ladies and gentlemen. The Socialist Convention video. Did you post it in the chat? Post it in the chat, William Lavagna. I don't know what you're talking about. Is it in the Discord? Dave Krennic says, my Mini was nothing but a shell with glass and a few boxes of parts. I paid 2,500 used. My soon-to-be ex-wife said I was nuts for buying it. Now it's my everyday driver. You talking about a Mini Cooper? Not gonna lie, if you're talking about a Mini Cooper, Dave Krennic, I did expect you to drive a much more masculine vehicle. Socialist Convention. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Socialist Convention YouTube. Democratic Socialist. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Let's play this. Let's play this here real quick. All right. Socialist feud over, quote, gender pronouns. Oh, my God.
Some convention this weekend didn't go exactly as planned. The self-proclaimed comrades got together to defeat capitalism, but the event descended into utter chaos over someone using a gendered pronoun.
To defeat capitalism. I love that when people just you shoot off at their socialist diarrhea at the mouth about capitalism. All capitalism is the voluntary economic interactions. You have $5, I have a goddamn pen that I'll sell you for $5, and you want the pen more than you want your $5. I want the $5 more than I want my pen. So we make a voluntary agreement. Oh my God, we can't let people do that. It's just anti-voluntarism. Like, you don't want people to make their own decisions based on the merit of what the fuck's going on. You don't want people to have free will and make choices that they determine to be rational for themselves. No, we have to a centralized monopoly of criminals sitting in white buildings that determine what's useful for your money. Just like when I was loving playing online poker and the goddamn government stepped in and said, oh, we know you enjoyed making that money and you did fuck up and spend it on golf clubs and tuition to a college for a degree that you didn't actually want, but, there's no more of that money for you. We know you've spent years cultivating the skills to play online poker, but we're just going to shut that valve off now because it's bad. You can't spend your money on that. We know what's best for you to spend your money on. That's the assumption of people who are anti-capitalism. You don't know what you want to spend your money on, tax cattle. Just let me be the authoritarian. Let me take over your consciousness. Oh.
Great.
Quick point of privilege. Quick point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Guys, first of all, James Jackson, Sacramento, he, him. I just want to say, can we please keep the chat?
Oh my God, dude. The levels of idiocy to state your pronouns before you talk. Dude, it's the height of goddamn SJW brain hijacking. They've got you so programmed that you might as well just state your gender. You might as well just state your skin color before you talk. Nick Jordan, cis white male, he, him, what else? Blue-eyed, German, Dutch, and then my time runs out and I don't even get to my goddamn point. We're like, oh, well, he was white, and, so we can probably just write off his opinion anyway. I mean, he didn't even need to get to his opinion. I mean, he's a cis straight white male. Of course. He, him doesn't, he doesn't get to talk. He doesn't get to talk. He doesn't have a valid opinion. Oh, him? His opinion doesn't matter. Oh my God, dude. Yeah, this is them destroying themselves because, it's identity politics is going to eat itself. The intersectionality goes on forever, and so they're going to be at each other's throats of who's the most, insane, who's the most committed to the cultural Marxist hysteria, and who's the most committed to their insanity.
Chatter to a minimum. I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. There's a lot of whispering and chatter going on. It's making it very difficult for me to focus.
Name chat.
Oh, we all must adjust our behavior to manage your emotional apparatus there, Mr. Sensitive he, him, sir. We wouldn't want to overload your consciousness. What's going to happen?
Capture pronouns.
Point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Did you see that little look to the side she did? That was a brief flash of sanity right there. This woman right here, she was wait a second. And then she was like, oh, back on the social justice agenda. Okay, that makes sense based on, the communist propaganda that's been shoved into my brain. Okay, back on track. I'm just going to nod like a good little brainless, lobotomized, social justice minion. All right. Just pull the brain out right through my nose. Just get it over with.
Wow. You know what that guy needs? He needs a double shot of Redneck Riviera whiskey on the rocks.
You always turn it into a plug. By the way, I disagree with how you started this. That went exactly as planned, right? Because this is...
All right, we don't need the goddamn commentary from the chuckle fucks here at Fox News. I just wanted to see the goddamn convention. It's like they showed a minute clip of the convention, and then it's like it's all commentary. Okay. Whatever, ladies and gentlemen. We get it. They're self-destructing. That was pretty goddamn funny, though. Oh, the gendered language. We wouldn't want to give you sensory overload. He's prone to sensory overload because all he does is refresh his Twitter all day, posting hateful shit about Donald Trump. That's what he does. And so he's overloaded. His sensory apparatus is overloaded. Oh, because he didn't get breastfed as a child. All right. And so he's very sensitive. All right. There was no father. There was no titty milk in that equation. All right. And so he needs the government to step in and be his parents. We need to control the Nazis and the white supremacists. They're overrunning the country. They've got their head bigot in charge, Donald Trump. Catch Check says, just like any socialist country in the past, they will implode. Yeah. That's what you're seeing in the Democratic debates now. They have no front runner. They're all just at each other's throats. Nobody's making any sense whatsoever. The person who's made the most sense on stage for the Democratic debates is Marianne Williamson, the goddamn crystal worshiper. The crystal worshiping, self-help, astrology, new age, yoga instructor. All right. She has made some actual good points about healthcare and the incentives that are at play when you pay doctors to treat your symptoms instead of cure you. And how doctors used to work is you would pay them a monthly stipend, and then when you got sick, you stopped paying them. And then they would have an incentive to actually cure you instead of just putting endless pharmaceutical Band-Aids over your symptoms and just running away on a gravy train of fucking, of pharmaceutical riches. And I don't like this, that the problem is the incentives. The problem is not the profit. Bernie Sanders always talks about, oh, the evil profit, the profiting. You know what the profit motive does? It guarantees the egalitarianism that the left wants in economic transactions. Because the profit motive, in order to gain the most profit, it goes again. It's very unproductive to discriminate against people. Because if you have one liquor store on one corner, and the guy, for whatever reason, he doesn't want to serve white people. I don't want to serve white people. He's a hyper Antifa leftist. He wears a goddamn black mask and a communist flag shirt at his liquor store, and he doesn't want to serve the evil patriarchal cis white males. All right, that's his decision. He just cut out a huge percentage of his clientele. The liquor store across the street that serves everybody, vastly going to outcompete him. So discrimination does not pay in the free market. And the profit motive guarantees an egalitarian treatment to everybody. Oh, wave your hands, don't clap. That's what they were doing, that weren't they? They weren't clapping. They were waving their hands and snapping. Oh my God, clapping may trigger people. Brother Murray says, we expose these nuts over here and they shut their mangy mouths. Oh, that's a limey word there for retard. Oh my God. Mongy. We need more psych wards, ladies and gentlemen. But the most sane person on the Democratic debate stage has been Marianne Williamson. Even though she, supports reparations for slavery, and we played this clip on the podcast the other night of where they were having a, lobotomized pseudo religious ritual where they would and white people would encircle black people and hold hands, and they were chanting, "We're sorry for our ancestors, for Jim Crow, for the white supremacist laws. We're sorry." And the black people were just a little bit uncomfortable and like, well, this sounded good on paper, but goddamn it, if I haven't lost any shred of respect for any white person in this goddamn room. And they were in church pews chanting about the goddamn reparations, dude. Oh my God. The height of identity politics idiocy to apologize for your ancestors as if that was you. It goes back to that Doug Stanhope bit about, let me just play it. Yeah.
Nationalism does nothing but teach you how to hate people that you never met. All of a sudden you take pride in accomplishments you had no part in whatsoever.
Yeah, the pride and accomplishments thing, it's the double-sided edge of the coin. So if you have pride in accomplishments that you had nothing to do with, you're also going to be prone to being guilty for transgressions you had nothing to do with.
Brag about, like the Americans, you go, fuck the French. Fuck the French. If we hadn't have saved their ass in 2 world wars, they'd be speaking German right now. You go, oh, was that us? That was us? Was that me and you, Tommy? We saved the French? Jesus. I know I blacked out a little bit after that 4th shot of Jägermeister last night, but I don't remember. I know we went through the Wendy's drive-thru. We are going to get one of them fresh cheddar sandwiches. It looked so alluring on the commercial, but then we ordered it and realized we had no money. And we had to ditch out before the second window. And those douchebags in line behind us with the bass music probably got our order. And we laughed about that, but I don't remember saving the French. I went through...
Yeah. So it's the same thing. Like, that's why having this whole like ethnic pride thing is retarded. Like, I'm proud to be black, proud to be brown, brown pride. You know, Cain Velasquez has it across his goddamn chest. White pride for the actual white nationalist retards there. It's all just as stupid. You had nothing to do with the goddamn accomplishments or transgressions of your ancestors. Live your own individual life. It's about individualism, dude. Don't fall into collectivism. And patriotic individuals can fall into it just as easily. That, oh, we're all Americans, or we're all like, just because you live in America doesn't mean you have any idea of the principles that went into creating and maintaining and developing Western civilization. If you don't support free speech, if you're not a free speech absolutist, if you're not a Second Amendment absolutist, if you don't abide by the non-aggression principle, if you don't understand that self-defense is valid under the non-aggression principle, you're not really defending Western civilization. You're not really like on the same wavelength as quote unquote an American. An American isn't an ethnic identity. It's rooted in principles. And that's why, fundamentally, I'm not a nationalist. But I understand the situation at hand that we're in right now, where it's very paramount that we maintain some semblance of a high IQ culture. We maintain some semblance of a border and get rid of the welfare state that's attracting these third world, migrants across the border. Because all they're doing is coming in, getting on welfare, and voting for the left and voting for bigger and bigger government. And so, to the extent that, Americanism, American nationalism seeks to reduce the size of the state, okay, I'm on board. But it's about reducing the size of the state. It's not like substituting, the principles of Western civilization for the government itself. It's not about the goddamn government. They're criminals. It's about you, your friends, your family, you as an individual, understanding the principles at hand and understanding that freedom is paramount and you should maintain your personal freedom and you should be able to defend yourself. Ooh, Bradley Murray's getting that barbecue going. Oh, shit. Goddamn, 102 degrees in Colorado right now. I can feel it heating up out here, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a heater in Hollywood. But yeah, this whole demonization of quote-unquote white nationalists is so weird. Just because you have white skin and you want to maintain any semblance of white culture, oh my God, it's white supremacy. Can't you be anti-immigration? Can't you be anti-third world immigration? Can't you be anti-illegal immigration? But also recognize that Ashkenazi Jews and East Asians on average have a higher IQ than whites. Can't you recognize that black people on average jump higher and have bigger dicks than white people? It's not mutually exclusive. You can believe both things, dude. You can think that limiting illegal immigration is a positive thing to be able to preserve goddamn Western civilization, preserve the greatest country the world's ever seen, and to stop the American empire from cascading down into oblivion. But they have to pass that off as white supremacy. Oh. He just thinks white people are better than everything. They're supreme. Well, when it comes to establishing principles that lead to, you know, the freest, most prosperous nation the planet's ever seen, oh, white people are pretty goddamn supreme. That's why everybody is clamoring and hustling and bustling over to try to get into Western countries. Turns out we do some shit right. Oh, why does everybody want to come into the white supremacist country? Bradley Murray says, I'm a nationalist, Nick, 100%. Well, what does that mean? Is it an emotional connection to Britain that you feel? Or it's just a love for your own culture? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's a genetic imperative to want to preserve the things that make sense to you and the culture that you're most comfortable in. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be around your own. That's baked into the consciousness of human beings and the tribalism. But my tribe fundamentally isn't ethnic. It fundamentally isn't nationalist. My tribe are people who can think, people who can, discern between ideas, and they're individuals. It's kind of an oxymoron, but the only tribe I subscribe to are the people that are individuals and that don't subscribe to a tribe. I'm in the anti-tribe tribe. Be a goddamn individual and think for yourself. Think scientifically. I'm on the scientific thinking tribe. Dave Krennic says, reason why black people are more athletic is because for 200 years they were selectively bred for strength and endurance for manual labor. There's some truth to that. There's some truth to that for sure. But it's also evolutionary biology. I was talking about this on the stream the other night about why there's why there's no white running backs in the top 10 of yards all time, and it has to do with evolutionary biology, how they hunted their food down in the Saharas of Africa, or I keep saying Saharas, savannas of Africa. They do have a Sahara over there in Africa, but I'm talking about the savannah. So how they hunted their goddamn food, it was subsistence hunting. All right? And a lot of the mammals that they would chase down are covered in fur, and so they can only run for a short amount of time before they pass the fuck out in the heat of the African sun, ladies and gentlemen. Human beings were much more hairless. All right? We run upright, so there's a lot less of our body exposed to the heat from above. So we can go a lot longer. All right? So we can chase them goddamn animals down and run them down until they pass out. And that was a lot of the hunting tactics that went on in early human existence in Africa. And so, what do you know? They're really good at running. Usain Bolt and every goddamn running back in the top 10 all time. Now, the European ancestors there, what were they hunting? They were hunting large, woolly mammals. All right, mammoths and mammals of all kinds with spears. What do you have to do? You have to read the defense, all right? You have to read the pass rush. If a woolly mammoth is coming at you, all right, you got to evade the pass rush. You got to read the defense, all right? You got to strike. You got to throw that spear with precision, and you got to take the fucking woolly mammoth down. You got to hit him in the goddamn vital organs. So that's why, 9 out of the 10 of the quarterbacks of the top 10 of all time are white dudes. And Warren Moon is probably half white. All right, he's in the top 10. All right, he has some of that European ancestry. He's got some of that spear throwing in him. So some of it's environmental, some of it's evolutionary biology. But some people are better at different shit. All right, and it's just hilarious that people who recognize this quote unquote race realism are automatically called white supremacists because you can't push back against the narrative that we're all equal and the only thing that's different about us is that some people have been oppressed and some people have privilege. That's the cultural Marxist narrative, to divide people and get people super resentful. The only reason anybody's more successful than you is because, oh, they fucked you over. They're taking your piece of the pie. And it's just wrong. Some people are higher IQ than others. Some people work way harder than others. And also, some people have more fast twitch muscle than others. They evolved with it. Some human beings evolved to have sex with women with giant asses. All right, so they needed longer dicks to get past that bun threshold. All right, and the Outrage Chancellor, he evolved to be with big booty women somehow. All right. There's no issue there. Mars Hot says white supremacy is a hoax. Tucker said so last night. Well, for the most part, statistically, it doesn't exist. Compared to other problems we have in the country, like, the giant federal government overreach, the $20+ trillion in debt, the Federal Reserve controlling everything monetarily, the big banks continuing the same practices that led to the economic crisis in 2008. They're doing the same shit. Run away unchecked because the government is just in their back pocket. These things are a little more important than quote unquote white supremacy. The only white supremacists I've ever met, all right, I'm supposedly from the epicenter of racism here in America. I'm from Oklahoma. Oh my God, the evil you must have experienced. Nope, never met a white supremacist until I came to Burbank, California, ladies and gentlemen. And I saw him sitting outside on the curb drinking a Mike's Hard Lemonade in the middle of the day. All right, he didn't seem to have a lot of power, didn't seem to have a lot of sway, didn't seem to have a lot of influence. All right, he wasn't quite privileged. He was sitting there with a sunburned ass head, and he saw my baby blues when I stepped outside the Starbucks. This is when I was homeless, living out of my goddamn car, and I was writing my screenplay in the Starbucks. I stepped outside for a little vape break there. He saw the Outrage Chancellor's baby blues. He said, "How you doing, brother?" And I got that weird vibe right when he said, "Brother." How you like what Trump's been doing for us, brother? It's not why I voted for Trump. I voted for Trump so he could run the goddamn White House like an episode of The Apprentice and tell all these deep state cretins, "You're fired." That's all I want to hear from Trump. And he still hasn't done it yet. We got to get rid of so many of these unnecessary government institutions. These government programs that aren't working. Brother Murray says, I live in a 99.5% English white city, but it's dangerous for Muslims. Here, we don't trust them, Nick, and never will, brother. Well, that's a rational mistrust, all right, if you look at the Quran and the tenets of the Quran. They have differing moral systems for Muslims and non-Muslims. So they call non-Muslims kafir, just like the Jews call non-Muslim or non-Jews goyim. All right, they have differing moral systems. So they justify lying to you in order to infiltrate your goddamn country and take over your government. It's all written in the Quran. They don't consider you a human being unless you're a Muslim. They consider you below. That's actual supremacy. And it's written in their goddamn doctrine that they, profess to believe in. That's an actual supremacist ideology. But white people are the only people you ever hear when it comes to quote-unquote white supremacy. When it comes to supremacy, it's all this Hitler rhetoric and, white people are the only ones who are accused of supremacy thinking. Meanwhile, the Jews and the Muslims don't consider people that aren't Jews or Muslims less than human. They treat them like goddamn cattle. The Muslims are a little more violent about it. The Jews are a little more, sneaky and subversive about it. But if they actually abide by the tenets of their religion, they don't consider you their equal or even their worthy of the same moral treatment as people they agree with or in their tribe. So that's actual supremacy. All right, but you never hear anything about that. You never hear anything about Muslim supremacy or, Jewish supremacy or anything like that. They can just claim to be the chosen people and still claim to be oppressed at the same time. Dave Krennic says, I read the article from the BBC News saying that the Pakistani Muslims in Britain are 70% inbred, brother to sister. Oh my God. That is very goddamn disgusting. And I think that may be why the Jews came out in the higher IQ of the Middle Eastern individuals there. They avoided the inbreeding. All right, the Muzzies, they went whole hog into it. You know, they got a little higher testosterone than the Jews on average. So I think, you know, whether it's a goat, whether it's your sister, dude, they're getting in there. Bradley Murray says Muslims can't sneak in and try and take over in Salford. Armed robber land, Nick. Well, that's that deterrent. That's why they desperately want to disarm, especially the white population. All right, because the whole gun control agenda is you know, they don't have an ethnic component to it explicitly in their rhetoric, but there is an ethnic component to it because they know the majority of law-abiding gun owners in America are white people. And so we have to disarm the white people so we can just let, you know, the subversion work, and we can let the communist universities teach our children, and we can let the Muslims work their way into our government. And no, don't be hateful, don't be Islamophobic, don't be, you know, anti-Semitic. Oh, don't do it. Just let them take your guns away and let them infiltrate your goddamn government and let them roll over you. It's not going to happen. We're not getting up the goddamn guns because it's a personal freedom argument. Freedom-minded individuals who just happen to own guns for self-defense purposes have nothing to do with the goddamn mass shootings. If there were more, you know, Lone Ranger Sam Elliott looking motherfuckers that El Paso Walmart walking around, that guy would have been deterred from going to that fucking Walmart and trying that bullshit. Or he at least would have been stopped short of killing the 20 plus people that he did. When you have the de-armed population, and so everybody's a goddamn sitting duck in a public place, and so, you know, it's wide open for any, you know, to wind up any crazy and give him a goddamn gun and send him out there and then type up a manifesto and blame it all on Trump. Oh boy. It's wide open for that. And then you perpetuate the gun control, and it just compounds and compounds and compounds, and there's a snowballing effect. Oh, we're scared of guns. Ban the guns. Oh, can't have any guns because mass shootings. And then, you know, more mass shootings happen because nobody has any goddamn guns to defend themselves. There's no deterrent. That's why we're not seeing any mass-scale world wars between, you know, powerful countries anymore that have nuclear weapons, because mutually assured destruction. And I said destruction, but I meant destruction. That's that Doctor Strangelove. All right? That's why you're not getting into these big scale conflicts between, you know, the United States and Russia and China, and, you know, they recognize that even, you know, the leaders would be wiped off the face of the planet if they got into any real, you know, large scale confrontation. Because there's a deterrent there called nuclear weapons. What's up, Aaron Soka? But it's about the deterrent. All right? If you know there's a lot, you're walking into a well-armed, possibly well-armed population of people, you're much less likely to go in there with your little demented, you know, LARPing evil murder fantasy and try to kill a bunch of people. Because you're just going to be, you know, taken out real goddamn quick, and you're not going to be in the headlines. You're just going to be another stain on history. But now this guy gets to go out in a blaze of glory, and oh my God, his picture's posted up all over the internet, and he's, you know, he's an infamous supervillain. Oh boy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got to take an outrage piss. I'm going to go in the other room. I'm going to leave the door open. All right, we're taking it back to old school. All right, please rate my piss out of 10. I'm going to leave the door open like a goddamn savage because I'm a heterosexual man. I'm in my apartment alone. We're pissing with the door open. All right, I'm going to let the outrage crew hear it. Rate me out of 10. I shall return. We're going to get into some of these actual mass shooting statistics, and we're going to get more into the white supremacy hoax. We're going to play the Tucker Carlson clip. I shall return. Get a little more water here. Sorry if I'm all over the place today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting adjusted to the new sleep schedule. A little bit foggy-minded right now. Alright, but we're settling into it. Settling into this midday outrage battleship behavior here. Narrowly escaping this sickness. It's not going to get me. Alright, got lots of protein, lots of vegetables in. Getting on that self-defense. And I was looking up what it takes to get a concealed carry permit. Dave Crank says 3 out of 10. Damn it. I was looking into what it takes to get a concealed carry permit in California. And oh my god, it's so pathetic. Let me pull this up. Conceal. Yeah, how to get a concealed weapons permit in Los Angeles. Yeah, so check out what they say here. You guys didn't hear any piss sounds? Damn it. Maybe the piss was a little louder on the phone streams when I used to do it. This microphone is beautiful, but I think after a certain radius, it doesn't pick any audio up. So it's very concentrated on the snowball mic here. But yeah, let me show you guys this. How to get a concealed weapons permit in Los Angeles. All right. So the most important thing, the weirdest thing here, you have to show good cause. A CCW applicant must show a real danger to themselves, their property, family, or employees. This can either be in reference to a specific incident or incidents when you were threatened, or because of the nature of your work. A written statement of good cause is the single most important element in the CCW application. Oh my God! You have to prove that you're in danger. You can't just want to defend yourself as a matter of principle. That's not good enough. Let me Google. There was another. Here's the actual policy. So this was hilarious, dude. Qualifications, and you have to prove you're of good moral character to the government. Oh. They don't have to prove to you they're of good moral character. They just, they have sexual assault slush funds, and they're on the Lolita Express with Jeffrey Epstein. Oh my God, but they get armed security. Oh, you have to prove you're a good moral character, and we've decided you're not, because you go on the Outrage Cast and you defend Western civilization and you shame the cultural Marxists, and we don't think that's good. Oh, it's also subjective. According to Los Angeles County Sheriff Department policy, good cause shall exist if there's convincing evidence of a clear and present danger to life and bodily harm of the applicant, which cannot be adequately dealt with by existing law enforcement resources. Oh my God, you just have to depend on the police to show up and protect you. Oh, they'll clean up all of that blood that's left over after you got stabbed. It's fine, dude. Subject to restrictions. Where did it have this? The character thing. There was one particularly insane paragraph in here. The issuance, the department's overriding policy is that no concealed weapons. Yes, right here. The department's overriding policy is that no concealed weapons license should be granted merely for personal convenience of the applicant. Oh boy. Oh, your convenience. You want to preserve your own life. Oh, you don't want to get shot or stabbed. So it's a matter of convenience. Yes. Oh, you don't want you want to conveniently be able to save your own life. Well, that's just, you're going too far, you white supremacist. Oh, how convenient. You know what's not convenient? Depending on the goddamn police force to protect you. Aaron Soka says in Europe you need to get Waffen pass. He's Austrian to be able to carry it all. You don't need to prove you're in danger or sane, because that's not enough. You don't just need to prove that you're in danger and insane, because that's not enough. Yeah, it's absolutely fucking crazy, dude. To be able to have a goddamn firearm on your person. Oh, that's for your convenience, isn't it? Oh, you're under threat, are you? You want to be able to, you don't want to submit your will over to the tyrannical monopolistic police force. You must just submit. They're the only ones that can help you. You cannot have your own self-defense, justifications. No. Alright, so let's watch this Tucker Carlson clip. The white supremacy hoax, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, fuck the Washington Post. They want me to pay. Fuck your mother. Here it is. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. Fuck you. They want me to disable my goddamn pop-up blocker. I refuse. Just search YouTube for it. All right. All right, here.
People behind me is believed to.
Okay, so that's... Where's the actual goddamn clip?
Well, good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson tonight. Gun control saves lives. That's what they're telling you day and night on CNN. In fact, they're having a town hall meeting tomorrow to tell you some more.
Oh.
Anyone who opposes gun control, they'll tell you, by implication if not directly, is a bad person, a callous, cruel, probably violent person, someone who doesn't care about the safety of others. Well, last night, a group of progressive activists took that very message to Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's home. Here's what they said.
We're at McConnell's house. This think he's about to get some rest. Not if the children that you're kidnapping can't get any rest. Not if families are getting murdered can't get any rest.
What? So this isn't the white supremacy clip. I assume he gets into it here. He's talking about Mitch McConnell and the psycho leftist people there going and confronting him God damn it. I can't even find the video, ladies and gentlemen. I should have found it before I came on stream. Dave Craddock says 3 years of trade school and you can get an FFL7. I can own a fully auto machine guns under 20 millimeters. My favorite weapon is the Alexander Arms 50 Beowulf. Oh boy. That sounds goddamn badass. Let's just watch the CNN horse shit right here where they get hysterical about it.
The man suspected of gunning down nearly 24 people behind me is believed to have written an online rant, worried about a, quote, Hispanic invasion. And that detail alone makes this next clip all the more outrageous. Watch what Fox TV
the outrage.
Trump whisperer Tucker Carlson says about the problem of white supremacy in America.
Just because he doesn't want third world immigration, he's a white supremacist. What the hell kind of logic is that?
The whole thing is a lie. If you were to assemble a list, a hierarchy of concerns, of problems this country faces, where would white supremacy be on the list? Right up there with Russia, probably. It's actually not a real problem in America. The combined membership of every white supremacist organization in this country, would they be able to fit inside a college football stadium? White supremacy, that's the problem. This is a hoax. Just like the Russia hoax. It's a conspiracy theory used to divide the country and keep a hold on power. That's exactly what's going on.
Dead on the money. Dead on the goddamn money. There's all this hysteria about, oh, Nazis and the alt-right. And the majority of people that are in the quote-unquote alt-right are shit posters on 4chan who just get off on triggering leftists. There's not these big coalitions, unlike Antifa, who are actually, organized communist agitators that get out in the streets and destroy property and start fights. They make this big deal about Charlottesville when there were a dozen tiki torch retards dressed like Nazis, and then actual hundreds of just regular conservative people, and they're trying to come together and get their principles across and have a demonstration and just talk about ideas, and then Antifa shows up and everything gets violent, and the tiki torch retards are all to blame, and somebody got ran over by a car, and oh my God. It's fake. It's hyped up by the media. There's not this big problem of white supremacy. There is a big problem of white people hating themselves and hating their own culture and being indoctrinated into this cultural Marxist view that that America was created on the backs of slaves, and oh my God, and slavery was not a productive endeavor. All right, it held us back from the Industrial Revolution. Oh, there's a Native American genocide. 90% of the Native Americans were wiped out by smallpox. It was introduced by Christopher Columbus's crew. All right, so 90% of them were already wiped out before the goddamn Pilgrims hit Plymouth Rock. Oh, America's the nation of slavery, and it's built on slavery. It's so dumb. White Western European countries have participated in slavery for the smallest amount of any other country in the history of the goddamn planet. And white Western European Protestants ended slavery for the civilized world. And what do they get for their, guilt complex? They get all the blame. So there is a big problem with white guilt for things that they had that are historically inaccurate, and that things that, they had nothing themselves as individuals to do with. And getting offended on behalf of other racial groups. Like, you talk to the majority of black people, they don't think there's a big racism problem in America. But you talk to the average whacked out white leftist, oh my God, there's Nazis around every corner, and they're just insecure betas that are looking for, they're looking for any reason to hate themselves. Mars Hutt says Charlottesville was our generation's USS Liberty. Yeah, it was the most politically spun, misrepresented event in recent memory to me. Other than Trump saying that a portion of the illegal immigrants coming across the border were rapists, and then that immediately gets spun to, he said all Mexicans are rapists, and that gets repeated ad infinitum as the definite proof of Trump's evil racism. It's so retarded, dude. What up, Melanin Farmer? Yeah, we're on that daytime streaming. We're just breaking down the retardation of, pretending that white supremacy is some huge problem because the beta rage idiot that went and shot up the Walmart happened to be a white dude who, didn't like illegal immigrants. So, oh my God, he must be Hitler. Must be white supremacy. Infiltrating the countries. Oh my God, it's terrible. So dumb, dude. But the goddamn leftist supremacy, if they want actual power over the government. There's no institutionalized white supremacy. There's no institutionalized Nazism. But 20% of social science professors openly identify as Marxist. And they actually want to run your life. There's no white supremacists that have power in the United States, dude. And that's why they have to constantly pretend that Trump is a white supremacist, even though, oh my God, he's the worst white supremacist of all time. He's giving all these employment opportunities to black Americans. What is he doing? Worst racist ever. And they're saying all these mass shootings are a big piece of evidence that, this white supremacy problem because these last two shooters are white. Well, let's look at some breakdowns here. Here's a big picture. All right. Courtesy of the evil alt-right individuals on 4chan. Of course. Oh my God. So, mass shooters 2019. Every person charged with or arrested for shooting 4+ people in a single incident. Now, as we go down through the pictures here, count how many white individuals you see. All right, this guy looks, he might be white. He looks a little Hispanic. All right, this looks like a white guy. 1. This looks like a white guy. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe white here. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Out of what looks like 50 plus. You get the statistical breakdown. All right, 71% black people, 20% Mexican people, 2% Anglo or Aryan. So what's is this the big problem here? The white people shooting people? Melanin Farmer says, actual white nationalists know you can't change people's minds through violence. It only sets their agenda farther back. Yeah. I mean, the term is so loaded. Oh, white nationalists. It's these same propaganda terms that get spread. White nationalist, white supremacist, alt-right, far-right. So they use all these terms and they apply them simultaneously to actual KKK members, and they apply them to libertarians. Oh, if you're freedom-minded, if you want freedom for individuals, if you want, the free market, and you want a smaller government, you want to reduce the size of the welfare state, and you want to limit third world immigration, oh my God, you're the same thing as Hitler. Meanwhile, the actual authoritarians are on the left. The Nazis were the National Socialist Party, and we have people like Bernie Sanders, who calls himself a democratic socialist, arguing for the same amount of economic control that Hitler had in Nazi Germany. That's what essentially communism and fascism are basically the same thing. They're not polar opposites on the political spectrum. Communism is direct state ownership of industry. Fascism is you leave the private ownership in the industry, but everything is state directed. They have to abide by a state mandate. And so it's just one level of separation between communism and fascism. And so they're saying, oh, there's this big problem with fascism and white supremacy, and Hitler's right around the corner, and we're living in 1933 Germany. It's all ramp up to tyranny. But what's the actual evidence we see going on? Well, there's all these communist professors that are indoctrinating people into cultural Marxism and economic Marxism at large. And there's these groups of amassed individuals calling themselves Antifa that go out and wave communist flags. And there's also, I saw New York flyer Trump supporters. In New York, there was these flyers posted everywhere. This looks like some Antifa art here. Death camps for Trump supporters now. Oh boy. I don't see any Trump supporters, calling for death camps, even for the illegal immigrants they don't want to come into the country, or the goddamn leftist. Death camps for Hillary supporters. No, we just make them look retarded, and we mock them into infinity. What's up, Burgess? Burgess, we're going on that daytime streaming. We're sipping on espresso. All right, we're keeping it high energy. All right, so I am getting over a little bit of sickness here, so I might be a little scatterbrained. All right, but we're breaking down the arguments for Western civilization in the middle of the goddamn day here. All right, so I can get some sleep at night. All right, I can leave heaven be at night, and we can all get some goddamn rest and not drink as many beers and spend as much money on goddamn beers. What's up, Shadow Warrior? Bullish on that Bitcoin, baby. He's a strong holder. Melanin Farmer says most white nationalists aren't white supremacists. They just want to maintain what their forefathers built. Yeah, that's like the two terms get equated. That's how you know that there's so many guilty, self-hating white people, is they go along with that narrative that just wanting to maintain their own culture at all, having a little bit of problem with demographic replacement, that you want to preserve Western civilization at all. That's not supremacist. That's called not hating yourself. That's called having an identity. Let me get a little more coffee here. Oh, but if you don't hate yourself, we have to teach the majority tax cattle to hate themselves, or else we won't be able to thoroughly demonize them and take their tax money. It's very helpful to the tyrants if the tax cattle hate themselves, because then, they'll be more than willing to give up that meat and that milk. They'll just walk right into the tax cattle grinder, all right, and do it for the love of the minorities, to prove they're not racist, all right. And you saw the picture there, death camps for Trump supporters. That's what they want to institute, dude. They want to have a nice little, They want to get power, and then they want to march off the fucking cisgendered straight white males into the nice little inclusivity and diversity camps. All right, and it's in a nice little summer camp, and just don't be hateful, and just go to the summer camp and just accept what's coming to you. But Tucker Carlson's dead on the goddamn money. It is a media hoax. There's no legitimate white supremacy threat. There's a threat of white self-hatred, all right, that threatens to, collapse the American empire as we know it. Oh yeah, Melanin Farmer says it's also annoying when they compare immigrants of today to the immigrants who came here with nothing and built the country up. Yeah, this is not a nation of immigrants. It's a nation of colonists, of European colonists. There was no nation to immigrate to when the goddamn colonists showed up on Plymouth Rock. There was a big, a big bunch of warring Indian tribes who were all, trying to cut each other's head off. They didn't even have a goddamn wheel. They didn't have a wheel. We showed up with wheels and goddamn riding on horseback and, with guns and everything. And they were like, what the hell? And then they tried the fire water and everything went downhill from there, dude. Dave Krennic says, I'm a nationalist just because I'm white. That doesn't mean I'm racist. I fought and killed for my country. I love my country but fear my government. Well, that's the thing. Is all those terms, like, I don't know what people mean when they say that they're a nationalist or they love their country. Like, I love the principles that allowed Western civilization to thrive. Hold on one second. I got the manager of my apartment complex calling me. 1 second. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, what's up? Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right, bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye. Melanin Farmer says every race and culture should have the right to preserve themselves. Yeah, Israel and China gets no shit for having the big giant walls and cultural continuity and preserving their own culture. Good luck trying to sneak into China and living there illegally, dude. They eat octopus live. They put the octopus in their mouth, it's squirming the tentacles all over their face, and they go... Think they give a goddamn about your illegal status and your refuge? They don't give a fuck. They preserve China, dude. And nobody blames them for it. But it's only white people because we have this guilt complex and we just let people do it to us. And we self-flagellate. Oh my God. And that's what we get for, instituting Christianity, the most universal and benevolent religion. And hold on, I got a sign for a package right now. Somebody's getting a delivery. So 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. Managerial duties. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. This guy's gonna bring up some packages here. I gotta sign for him. Somebody's getting a package delivered in one of the apartments here. Got to sign for it. Send the pictures to the manager. Or we're steadily working our way into the Jewish conspiracy out here in Hollywood. You know what it is. I've got to do my duty as the assistant manager. I'm trying to work my way up to head manager. Hold on, he's back. Alrighty. I'm going to shoot off a little text to the manager here. Get back to it. So I was in the middle of a goddamn argument against the Jews and the Chinamen there. Alright. Hello? Yeah. Yes, sir, and I got a picture of it. Yes. Do you know if 11's home, or I gotta check? Okay. Okay. And can I, because I'm right in the middle of a YouTube stream right now, can I maybe wait like 30, 40 minutes? Okay. All right, bud. All right. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Little interruption. All right. Yeah, the Asians eat some crazy shit. Dude, do you know how kosher you have to be to get into Israel? They make you do a kosher taste test at the goddamn border. And if you get it wrong, they put 2 pieces of pizza. One of them has been blessed by a rabbi. They blindfold you. They make you do a goddamn kosher taste test. If you get it wrong, dude, they circumcise you again. Circumcising. But I've already been... We're taking more of that dick. You know? It's so goddamn hard to go and live in Israel, but oh my God, the most open and welcoming and benevolent culture of the Western countries. Oh, they're the real evil ones that hate you, the white supremacy. This is what Christians get for having universal morality and trying to include everyone. You just get endlessly exploited by these other groups that have way more in-group preference than Christians. Christians are just like, oh, we just want everything to be good for everybody. Let's just universalize the principles, and it'll be fine. And the Muslims and the Jews are like, oh, they really believe that they want it all to be universal. They're dumb. They don't have kosher restaurants, and they don't call non-Muslims kafir, and they don't call non-Jews goyim, and they don't have differing moral systems. They want everybody to be to be treated the same. Oh, the evil. Let's just take over their country. These idiots. They don't have any in-group preference. Reparations for our stolen foreskins. I like that idea. All right? I love it. William Lavagna says a picture of my wiener. I'm not sending a picture of my wiener to the manager here. All right? He does not get that privilege. A very distinct, select group of people get to see the Outrage Chancellor's wiener. And, it's invite only. But yeah, it's that's the thanks that white people get for, creating this, economic prosperity and the Industrial Revolution and ending slavery and having a moral revolution and, having universal morality, and Christians ending slavery because it's wrong. Well, that's what we get. We get endlessly blamed for slavery like we goddamn invented it. And then we get endlessly browbeaten for how racist we are when it's like the most open and accepting and inviting culture in the goddamn history of the planet. And so you're just, if you don't, you can be inclusive with your principles. That's why I'd say my tribe is no tribe. I'm in the tribe of no tribe. It's about principles. It's about can you think. It's about scientific thinking. But you also can't allow yourself to be exploited. You have to recognize the people that have nefarious intentions and that don't share your universality of morality and are Machiavellian and subjective and, trying to encroach upon your freedom. Shadow Warrior says, I bet the Shiite Muslims are not so bad. They look a lot more modern, but the Sunni majority wants to basically live in a tent and circumcise the whole planet. Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't know what to think when anybody says they're a Muslim. It's like, how much of a fidelity do you have to this goddamn barbaric, horror show of a text in the Quran? Are you down for marrying chicks when they're 6 and banging them when they're 9? Are you down for, conquering by the sword? Are you down for the differing moral systems and executing the goddamn kafir there? All right, Burgess, we'll catch you later, buddy. Shadow Warrior says, I have infiltrated Moss and everything I know a lot about this shit we call religion. Yeah. Well, they have this big secretive thing about, we can't let the Kaffir know about our true intentions, and we just call them Islamophobic if they have anything negative to say about Islam, and it's like there's a lot of negative shit about Islam. All right, that's what, because I don't automatically hate Arab people. All right, I am willing to stand up and criticize their horseshit ideology because I respect them that much as a human being to think that they can accept some criticism and reform themselves. There was a Christian Reformation. All right, why can't there be a goddamn Islamic Reformation? Put down the sword, Muhammad. Quit fucking your sister and get a goddamn universal moral system. You can go through the goddamn, Reformation just like Christians did. How about a little separation of church and state? How about you get these barbaric texts out of your goddamn governments in your host countries and quit chopping people's heads off? Quit throwing goddamn atheists and gay people off roofs. Everybody talks shit about Christians like they're, the height of oppressive fascism. Oh my God, the oppression of growing up in a Christian society. The leftists are so hysterical and dumb, dude, just because they have some atheistic arguments. I am an atheist, all right, but I'm really glad I grew up in a goddamn Christian household and not a Muslim one. Because my Christian parents, all right, it was about a couple of weeks of uncomfortable conversations, and I showed them a Richard Dawkins documentary about evolution, and, they were like, well, he seems to have some arguments, I guess, to each his own. And they were fine with it. If I told my Muslim parents that I was an atheist, the conversations around the dinner table probably would have got a whole lot more conflicted, problematic. Mom, Dad, I'm an atheist. All right, I know you're really into Muhammad. I know you're really into the Quran, but the burden of proof is on you to prove that Allah exists. I mean, you're the one making the metaphysical claims, and and blah blah blah. And then my dad would hear all the arguments. My Muslim dad would, he would accept. He would hear everything I'm saying, and then he would get quiet, and then he'd look around and be like, "You realize, son, that this means war." I'd be like, "What?" He's like, "This is war," and then. I would have to, avoid being murdered by my own parents. All right, because they like to put atheists to death in Islam. All right, so, I'd have to, be wandering around my house. And, my dad's hiding around the corner like Jack Torrance in The Shining. And I'm like, Dad, I see the tip of your goddamn Aladdin sword around the corner. And he's like, oh, damn it. And I'm like, try harder, Dad. You're not going to catch me by surprise with that bullshit, dude. I'd be walking around with a shield. Avoiding getting stabbed by my parents all the time, Go out to use the family car, and I hear this tick, 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 tick. And I look under the car, and obviously there's a C4 bomb that my, Muslim father has attached to the, he was trying to blow me up like Robert De Niro in Casino, and he's looking out the blinds, in the kitchen to see if I get murdered. And I'm like, Dad, almost got me. Burden of proof still on you. All right, still an atheist. They'd pour some acid on my face. Yeah, dude, I don't know if I could sleep in the domicile. They would wake me up with that acid bath and then stone me to death. You're right, Raw Dog. Oh. Yeah, consent is harm. Or no, consent is haram. Okay. Consent is haram for the leftists. That's why them the Marxist and the Muslims get along, all right? Because it's all about doing things through the violence of the state. It's enforcing your religion through the violence of the state, all right? That's what they do in Islam. That's what they do in social justice, all right? Because actual justice, there's a trial and everything, but social justice, they just demonize you based on your immutable characteristics and then try to amass power in order to exterminate you. You know what they want to do. Death camps for Trump supporters now. As they're flying their communist flags and they have their black masks on marching in the street. But oh my God, the big danger in America is white supremacy. If you have a swastika anywhere, you're going to get demonized, and there's going to be a big national media hysteria. If I wore a fucking swastika shirt on the Outrage cast, I probably should. All right, just to not because I support the leftist, socialist agenda of Hitler, but just because I'm trying to get those clicks. It would be a big national hysteria. But I've actually been in comedy clubs out here in Hollywood, and this one time this dude went up on stage with a straight up hammer and sickle communist flag on his t-shirt, and he went up there and did a set. Nobody mentioned it. Nobody said a goddamn thing. Oh, that ideology that's killed tens of millions more people than the Nazis. But you can just wear that openly in public and nobody says a goddamn thing. Because they've been indoctrinated in public school to think that the Nazis are the worst thing in human history, and that communism is nice and friendly, and it's taught to you by your big, bearded, friendly communist professor, and he knows what's best, and he's nice, so he's going to enforce his ideology through the gun of the state. Isn't it nice? Got to piss again, ladies and gentlemen. You can't hear the piss stream, but you can hear that Sabbath. Dave Krennic says, easiest way to take care of the Muslims is to get some fire planes, fill them with pig's blood, and strafe the countryside. What now? Dave Krennic has a military strategy designed for combating the Muslims there. Well, the most effective thing to do is to limit the size and scope of government, and then they can't infiltrate your government. All right, if the positions of power there aren't available to be taken and taken advantage of, well, then you can't have any power over other individuals, especially if they're well armed. Funny how that works. Freedom leads to more freedom, and power and control leads to more power and control. That's why Christians, they had the best of intentions. They've done a lot of great things. When it comes to Western society and creating these open and free societies and creating a bunch of prosperity and free market capitalism and small government. But it's gotten co-opted because they didn't universalize their principles as they said they did. That's what Christianity is supposed to be about, is about universalizing the principles to all individuals. But where they fucked up is they did not universalize the principle called thou shalt not steal. Well, they let the government have a little exemption from that, didn't they? I'll accept the government. Okay, well, we need the government to be able to steal your tax money, and it's just, I mean, it's necessary. I mean, you know, the only sure things in life are death and taxes. Isn't it funny? No! You've led to the degradation of the American empire, and this is why we're in the position we're at. $20+ trillion in debt with a big giant Federal Reserve, you know, creating our monetary, you know, system. And, you know, we're getting pimped out by the big banks because they've co-opted the big government, and all these multinational corporations have taken control and they've taken hold. And oh my God, they're getting tax breaks. Everybody should get tax breaks. Nobody should pay the shit. You can have military, you can have police, you can have courts without the forced coercive monopoly of the gun against your head. White people got to start universalizing their principles for real. Taxation is theft. Thou shalt not steal. That means individuals in the government too. That's why in Western countries we don't anoint. You know, that's why, you know, we got rid of, you know, the Magna Carta. You know, because kings aren't gods. Government and politicians aren't gods. They're not exempt from moral principles that other people are held to. Stealing is wrong for them too. Dave Cranning says they have to commit suicide if they touch pork products. Oh, dude. It's like wearing garlic for vampires, dude. You wear a pork chop on a necklace, the muzzies ain't gonna fuck with you. Get that pork chop necklace, dude. That's how you defend Western civilization right there, dude. The Jews don't eat pork either, do they? That'll save you from the Muslim conquering and the Jewish subversion there. That pork chop necklace. You know? They're all scared of trichinosis. Meanwhile, you're defending Western civilization kicking ass. Aaron Sonka says, imagine a Muslim going full British Prime Minister. That'd be worse than being a muzzy trans. The Muslims are very transphobic, aren't they? William Lavagna says, if I held a Muslim wedding, I'd use bacon bits for confetti. Oh, dude. Well, the thing is, you just lessen the size of government, and then they would have to come over. And if they want to come into Western countries, you get rid of the welfare state, and that takes care of the whole assimilation problem. Then you wouldn't have these cultural enclaves where there's no go zones, and they're just collecting all this welfare money, and they don't have to incorporate themselves in the larger economy. And they can just have their small little version of Saudi Arabia or Pakistan in goddamn Germany or Britain. And they could just have their nice little cultural enclaves, and they'd never have to assimilate because they're getting that welfare money. If they didn't get the welfare money, they would actually have to engage in economic transactions with the rest of the population. They would actually have to learn the language. They would have to assimilate to the culture somewhat in order to be able to compete in the marketplace. But as soon as you remove them from having to compete in the marketplace, you remove any incentive for them to actually assimilate to the culture. Why would they? They're just going to collect that government money, send it back to their family in their host countries. Same thing with the third world immigrants coming up on the southern border of America. Of course, they're not going to assimilate. They're going to stay on the edge of society and just, you know, talk Spanish at the taco trucks with Beto O'Rourke, man. We're just here with La Raza, man. We're taking back what's ours, man. They took our goddamn country. That's what they think, dude. And they're not going to incorporate themselves in the larger society. They're not going to actually contribute back unless you take away that welfare siphon. That welfare stream, dude. That's what allows them to maintain separation from the larger culture and to maintain their, you know, it maintains this divide. So both sides end up with hate and resentment for the other side, and you get this slowly building tension, which is not good, dude, because that's going to explode into goddamn conflict. You want to have your conflict be economic, all right? Everybody, says they get annoyed by people who haggle and, the Jewish behavior, you're Jewing me down. Well, that's a lot better than, coming to blows in the streets or trying to take power through the government. That's how you exercise your competitive drive in a free market economy, in a society with actual individual freedom and with voluntarism and with moral principles. You haggle, all right, and you try to get good deals on shit, and you try to fuck. If you're gonna fuck somebody over, all right, don't literally stab them in the back. All right, you can economically stab them in the back, and you can fuck them over that way, and that's just fine, dude, because they agreed for it. They agreed to it. It was consensual. Dave Craddock says, I used to have my mom send me pork rinds when I was in Somalia. I used to hand them out to kids. Oh, God. That's that, he's out there on the front lines for Western civilization, handing out pork rinds to muzzies. That's goddamn hilarious. Raw Dog says, haggle at the Little Caesars. Well, no need for that, dude. All right, they've already, through the beauty of free market capitalism, all right, the demand for a cheap pizza has met the supply of Little Caesars, and they give you that goddamn, that pretty good pie for $5.48. But that's how civilized adults have conflict. It's economic conflict. It's argumentative conflict. It's debate. It's hearty, steadfast debate. But there's this big agenda to try to turn debate into something that's hateful or violent. Like, words are violent. You need a trigger warning. And oh my God. Oh my. Don't overstimulate my consciousness. No. Your arguments are too rigorous. It's a lot better than getting fucking thrown off a building or getting your arm chopped off in goddamn Pakistan, dude. Get a little triggered. It's fine. You might actually grow some dick hair. What's up, David? We're on that midday streaming here. I'm just catching my stride. I'm getting over a little bit of sickness as I feel like I'm jet lagged, trying to reprogram the Outrage Chancellor's brain cells to getting fired up in the middle of the day and then getting to bed at a decent time. All right, I started to get sick, but I had a real goddamn healthy breakfast. I had a big-ass fucking garden chicken salad. Surprisingly, Buffalo Wild Wings has a damn good salad. All right, and they fucked up the order, and so Heaven went and put the flex down, on the employees there at Buffalo Wild Wings. She got me another free salad, so I've had two, vegetable-packed salads with, some big old chicken tenders in there. And I had a couple protein shakes, and I'm feeling a lot better after the espresso. All right, we're getting over the sickness. I feel like I should go, and we did pass the rent threshold, so cheers up to the Outrage crew for that. All right, paypal.me/Outrage TV if you want to contribute to this roof preservation fund. The roof has been preserved for another month, ladies and gentlemen. We just passed that threshold. All right, we're getting it done. David said, did Heaven poison me? No, Heaven has helped bring me back from the brink of sickness. I got sick because I was trying to make myself go to bed the other night, 2 nights ago. I slammed 4 beers in a row and then smoked some weed, and I still was not tired. Because it was like noon. That's when the Outrage Chancellor's brain gets fired up. That's when I start revving up, usually for the Outrage cast. And I was laying in bed just, with the carnival going on in my goddamn brain. And so I slammed 4 beers. I smoked some weed. I jerked off. None of that was working. All right. I was still wide awake. And so I did as many push-ups as I possibly could. And then I went to the 24-hour little gas station there, and I got some sugary-ass protein cookies, and we laid it down after that. Ooh. Shadow Warrior says, I have some intel saying Putin and Xi Jinping are secretly buying and holding Bitcoin, they could make Bitcoin take off to 100K any day. Well, that would be that sneaky turn against the dollar, against the petrodollar there. And Bitcoin is that wise investment long term. That's why I'm very pissed off that I knew about Bitcoin back in 2007, but instead of investing in Bitcoin, I invested in my skills in online poker. And for the short term, it was goddamn good. I racked up about 14 grand when I was 17. By the time I was 17, playing online poker, and then, you know, shortly after, the government came in and stepped in, and, you know, they were like, "Oh, we know what's best for you, little tax cattle. You shouldn't be gambling your money. It's very irresponsible of you to be gambling." It's not gambling when you know how to steal the fish's money at the poker table, dude. Texas Hold'em poker is a goddamn skill game. It's not fucking slot machines, dude. There's a distinction. But the government stepped in. "Oh, we know what's best for you." That's not where your money should go. Your money should go to financing the big, you know, encroaching, you know, tyrannical takeover of the left. We've got to pay for all the horseshit government programs. We got to put we got to pay for the illegal immigrant welfare. We got to pay for their health care. Oh. Don't you want to finance the illegal immigrants and you know, the diabetes leg sitting next to you on the metro train? Look at that diabetes leg. It's your fault. David says Trump has lost it after those weird CIA shootings, talking about red flags and hate crimes and stuff. Yeah. Trump seems to be capitulating, at least in rhetoric, to the leftist mob after the, especially the El Paso shooting, where they put out the manifesto that who the fuck knows if that guy actually wrote the manifesto or not, but it basically read like a Trump rally. And so, oh my God, the white supremacy, because he didn't like illegal immigrants. He didn't like demographic replacement. I can tell you, there'd be a lot more than 20 people dead, all right, if there was an impending demographic replacement in, in Saudi Arabia or in China or in Israel. I can tell you, there'd be a bigger crackdown if there was an impending demographic replacement of the host populations of those countries. If China was all of a sudden getting a whole lot less Chinese, what do you think they do? They have no problem running their own citizens over in the streets with goddamn tanks, dude. They're preserving that culture. They got a big ass wall and they're proud of it. But white people are too guilty to enforce any kind of cultural continuity, because half of the white population has been propagandized to hate themselves in public school. And they've been indoctrinated into cultural Marxism to believe that they're an oppressor because of their skin color. Oh, Martin Luther King was wrong, according to the SJWs. It's not about your content of character. It's about the color of your skin, after all, isn't it? But yeah, I knew about Bitcoin back in 2007, dude. And I invested in the online poker instead of the goddamn Bitcoin. And I would already have a house in the Hollywood Hills, ladies and gentlemen, if I would have just invested in a Bitcoin. Fuck. But it's still going to the moon retro compared to where it is now. So paypal.me/Outrage TV if you want to contribute to the Bitcoin fund for the Outrage Chancellor. I do have a Bitcoin address below as well in the low bar. If you'd like to donate to the argument manifestation fund here through the Bitcoin. I'm a goddamn argument jukebox, ladies and gentlemen. Charge me up and watch me go. Wind him up. You can't wind me up and have me do any goddamn mass shootings, but I'll do mass argument executions. All right? I'm executing people with the goddamn arguments. Rhetorical kill shots, ladies and gentlemen. Rhetorical headshots. We're popping that melon off politically. So yeah, hopefully Trump doesn't, we don't get a repeat of that retarded bump stock ban or anything like that. Hopefully he doesn't. I mean, we already have background checks for people who buy guns. It's like, people are going to get guns. There's guns floating around. You're not ever going to be able to, neurotically manage every transaction of guns. There's something called a black market. All right? How'd that work for the war on drugs? The government can't even keep hard drugs out of fucking federal prison. You think they're going to be able to stop guns from ending up in criminals' hands? Turns out criminals don't care about laws. They're not going to abide by your goddamn horseshit laws. They're going to get on that Travis Bickle behavior. They're going to make a goddamn transaction for a gun in a hotel room of somebody with a long trench coat. All right? He's going to open that trench coat and be like, what do you want? He's going to have the guns, dude. That's called that black market. Anytime you make a law, all you're doing is opening the opportunity for black market. Huge profits in the black market. So we're going to have more gun running cartels and less drug running cartels. Because they just operate on whatever the horseshit government decides to quote unquote outlaw. And then who ends up with the guns? The outlaws. And you make it harder and harder and harder for the law-abiding citizenry to be able to defend themselves. And then we're just all sitting ducks in the public for any goddamn psycho who gets whipped up on a whim and decides he wants to shoot a bunch of people. William Levine says Trump is actually quite liberal. Obama deported more and bombed the hell out of country. Yeah, they're steadily chipping away at Trump. And he's been steadfast for the most part. He's taken more abuse than probably any human being on the face of the planet when it comes to, rhetorical browbeating abuse from the media. And they seem to be chipping away, with the rhetoric. And he's got to hold fast. And that's the thing about Trump, is he's not necessarily principle driven. He's more populist driven. He's about winning. He's about, getting these practical results, whatever Machiavellian tactics he needs to do to get it. He's not a real principled guy. He's not Ron Paul. He just has a bunch of goddamn dragon energy and he punches back. That's his biggest strength, is punching back against the media. That's what Ron Paul would never do. Because Ron Paul did not have the testicular fortitude to be able to punch back and be able to stand in the face of the entire media complex, calling him a racist and a demon, and oh my God, the evil of Trump. And Trump can handle all that, but he does get lured into which way is the public wind blowing and what's going to be most effective, and he's always trying to read the tea leaves and play to the populist sentiments. And there's no foundation to that. It's very unpredictable. But he has to know that his base is pro-gun and pro-individual liberty, being able to own a gun. I mean, all the fucking military, all the police, they're all Trump supporters, dude. So he has to know that's red meat for his base, and to not capitulate on the gun issue based on some media whipped up, white supremacy hoax hysteria. Oh, the white people are shooting everybody. Oh, we need to look at it again, dude. We need to look at it again. Most of the mass shooters, when mass shooters are designated shooting 4+ people in a single incident, over 70% of the mass shooters are black individuals. And just because it's gang-related activity doesn't mean it's not a mass shooting. You're shooting people in mass. That's what a mass shooting is, dude. But the media doesn't publicize that. Because those are Democrat-controlled areas. They publicize the people with the big fake manifesto, that sound like a goddamn Trump rally. And oh my God, the problem is white people. It's that rhetorical quick scoping. But yeah, it's the same argument with the drug war. The leftists can't understand the gun argument because they're so freaked out and hysterical about guns. And it's like, I grew up around guns to some extent, but I don't even fundamentally, like, I've never shot anything with a gun. I've never been to a gun range and shot off a bunch of clips, dude. I'm very inexperienced with guns. I've shot a pellet gun once or twice in my goddamn life. But I understand the arguments. That it's about personal freedom and that you need to be able to fucking own a goddamn firearm, and the government has no place to be able to tell you what you can and can't do with your goddamn money and defending yourself and your family. It's just a principled argument. And it's the same thing with drugs. The government can't keep drugs out of federal prison. These goddamn people in the prisons are getting any drug they want, dude. And so they obviously can't stop. All you're doing is empowering the criminal cartels for whatever you outlaw. Then that's what they're going to provide, because there's obviously a demand for guns. There's a demand for drugs. And so you try to cut off that, try to make a law and cut off that supply. Well, the supply is not getting cut off, dude. People still want it. And so it becomes that much more valuable when it becomes illegal. And so people can get fucking fabulously wealthy off of providing things that there's a huge demand for and a limit of supply, because they're trying to, legally stop it. So it's the same goddamn argument. And this is what we got to say to leftists who can be persuaded to old school liberals. They can be persuaded even if they're pro-gun control. You can make this argument to them. All it does is create a black market. Guns will be provided for people. It's just whether or not you're allowing the law-abiding citizenry to be able to defend themselves or not. I mean, being pro-gun control isn't being anti-gun. You're just having only the government have guns. Oh, sounds like a perfect recipe for, prosperity. Only the government has the guns. Oh, yeah. The centralized monopoly of criminals. Just give them all the guns. Dave Krennic says blacks make up 13% of the population and cause 51% of all the crime. Well, look at this, dude. This made me laugh. So it's a golden retriever, and it says, isn't it weird how pit bulls, 11% of the dog population, commit 50% of all the dog attacks? And that golden retriever is just like, I'm just saying. I mean, 11% of the dog population, 50% of all the dog attacks, there's something going on with the pit bulls. And I'm not blaming the pit bulls, maybe it's systemic, maybe it's, environmental, maybe it's genetic, The pit bulls are attacking people, And the media's blaming the goddamn golden retrievers. They're just trying to defend their goddamn family. What's up? I want to survive. David says we can't vote ourselves out of the myriad problems plaguing us today. I'm not saying violence is the answer either. There must and surely is a third way. Yeah, it's spreading the information through the communication apparatuses we have on the internet. It's doing what we're doing right now. It's defending Western civilization on the goddamn outrage battleship. All right, we have to spread the ideas, because that's how revolutions happen organically. It's not about, revolutions aren't about, what Bernie Sanders considers a revolution, what Fidel Castro and Che Guevara consider a revolution, is taking all this political power and then exterminating your political enemies. That's not a revolution. All right, an actual revolution is empowering people with the ideas and ways to think about the situation we're in. So we need another moral revolution. It already happened with slavery once. All right, in the Western world, we came to an agreement, largely, led there by white Western European Protestant Christians, that slavery was a moral evil, and they spread that idea wide and far, and it eventually became untenable to maintain slaves and not be considered an evil person. We got to get to that point where people that even participate in the political system, people that even give them any respect at all, give them any credence at all, even going to the voting booth. I mean, everybody's voting right now, so I mean, we have to keep the leftists out of power, and we're teetering on the edge of fucking possible collapse, and so we have to keep the leftists out of power because their bribery machine is just going to send us over an economic cliff. But we have to spread the idea that taxation is theft far and wide enough to where there's a big public critical mass of people who want the government smaller and realize that it's a criminal organization and it has to be fundamentally dissolved over time. And we have to wean ourselves off of the heroin that is government and debt and, you know, the propaganda centers that are, you know, public schools. There has to be a revolution of homeschooling and of keeping your kids away from the government propaganda centers and teaching them that the government is not another, you know, just functional part of society and they're just trying their best to help us and keep us safe and lead us. No! They're criminals that are stealing our goddamn money and stealing our future through debt and enslaving future populations in this debt indentured servitude. That's what they are. They're not just, you know, other citizens just in the fight for Western civilization. No! They are preying upon you. They're a parasite. The government is a big tick on the neck of the American populace. And half the country's like, maybe this tick should be bigger. Let's make the tick bigger. And we're here on the Outrage Battleship like, chop that tick off. It's not helping anybody, dude. And it's not fundamentally helping the people that get the government checks in the mail. You know, it seems like help in the short term, but all you're doing is being, you know, put in that Democratic plantation, and you're never going to get out of that fucking heroin hole. I Want to Survive says, grew up around guns too. We went to the gun range with my dad and bro once. Never been comfortable handling guns, and I don't have one, but I definitely don't want them taken from others. Yeah, it's about the principle. Everything is about, you know, like this narcissistic, subjective thing. Like, oh, are you just some weird gun nut fetishist? It's like, no, I have principles. You don't just, how many guns? It's like the same argument that communists say, like, oh, do you really need that AR-15? Oh, do you really need all that money that you made voluntarily in the market? Do you really need it? How much do you really need? How much firepower do you really need? It's not your place to say what the fuck I need, dude. I'm an individual, you're an individual, live your own goddamn life. Protect yourself. Worry about what the fuck I'm doing. It's all this, you know, it's all this goddamn, you know, manipulation. And, oh, I gotta control what you're doing because, oh, society. Society doesn't exist, dude. Society is a goddamn concept. It's not anything in reality. There's no such thing called society in reality. There's a bunch of individuals acting in their own interests. Like, there's no such thing as a forest. Trees exist. Forests do not exist except as a concept in your head. There's no such thing as society. There's a bunch of individuals, all right? And if you give those individuals the maximum amount of personal freedom, well, that leads to smaller government and more prosperity and more riches for everybody. I Want to Survive says, I'd say there's a homeschool and traditional we need women at home revolution brewing right now. A lot of people are waking up. Yeah. Feminism has pushed their agenda way too far, and they've jumped the shark. And so it all goes in cycles, ladies and gentlemen. This is, you know, the leftists have pushed their agenda way too far, and now they're getting all the pushback they can handle. All right, in part from the Outrage Chancellor and the Outrage Battleship here, with their bunch of their crew of just outrageous bigots. And we're taking the word bigot back. All right, we're turning it into a term of endearment. All right, just like the word nigga, just like black people did for the word nigga. All right, it's become meaningless. All right, so we're using it as a term of endearment. You know, they've overused the term racism so much, it's absolutely meaningless now. Like it's racist to own slaves, it's racist to lynch black people, but it's also racist to ask where they're originally from. It's also racist to say that you're not racist because you have black friends. Oh boy. That can't be the same category. So it's fundamentally meaningless as a term now. So we're taking back the term bigot. All right? It doesn't even mean you say or actually do anything racist. You just walk up to your other white friends and you're like, hey, what's happening, my bigots? Bigot, please. What the fuck are you talking about? You know you're my main bigot, right? Sorry, I gotta blow my nose here, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting over the sickness. We're getting over the cultural marks of sickness. Dave Kranick is a self-admitted gun nut. All right, we're going to check out that Alexander Arms Beowulf. Oh my God. Oh Lord. Dude, he's out there. He's out there with that heavy artillery. Look at that bad boy right there. Can we get a video? Holy shit. That looks so badass. Oh yeah. Look at that. 50 cal, baby. Good luck, muzzies. Dude, I think there's a pork infused bullets, you know, defending your goddamn country.
Good gosh, man. Like I'm shooting one of your cigars out of the enemy.
Whoa. That thing's got some heavy kick to it, boy. Holy shit. Dude.
That's about like a 45.
Dude, you're going to need some shoulder pads to shoot that motherfucker. That's pretty goddamn badass right there, Dave Kranick. Death camps for Trump supporters? Not if Dave Kranick has anything to say about it. Come and take them. You got them pork-filled bullets, dude. You guys are talking about the go back to your country claim, whether or not it's racist. I mean, it's like Trump didn't need to say that at all. I mean, I get it. You're getting the media attention, everything. You're controlling the news cycle. You're putting the attention on the most extreme psycho elements of the left. But it's like, I don't know. You're just giving them all this mockery fodder. And David says, if you're one generation deep and you're a wog who makes a living antagonizing the people who built the country, you can go back. Well, it's partially self-inflicted. We got to take some personal responsibility because self-hating white people have allowed this to happen. You know, half of the white people in the country, they don't give a goddamn about their cultural continuity because they've been propagandized. And so, yeah, they're going to side with people who are coming in and criticizing Western civilization over the people that are trying to defend it because they don't understand the fundamental value of it and the, you know, everything that's been done in history to give them the privileged existence that they're living out. And so we've just got to correct a record historically. We got to make the arguments. and we got to bring white people back into some, self-respect. Have some goddamn respect for yourself. And don't automatically capitulate and get offended on behalf of other groups. But the fundamental thing is getting the government smaller so we don't have these positions of power where they can come in and wield influence and use the social justice, identity politics horseshit to, as an excuse to gain power over people. If those positions of power didn't exist, if Christians would have fundamentally said, thou shalt not steal, and that means the government too, those positions would not exist, dude. David says, pilgrims belong, Somalians do not. Well, if Somalians want to come over here and contribute to the free market economy, I don't have any fundamental problem with them being here. And there's going to be a natural filtering because it's extremely hard. You're only going to get the highest IQ, most, energized people coming over here because there's so many barriers to have to come across if there's not a welfare state waiting for them. If there's not a welfare state waiting for them, so you get rid of the welfare state, it's going to take care of all those assimilation problems. Because then the Somalians, they have to have a high enough IQ to get over here, establish their business, establish their place in the economy, and keep afloat in order to survive. And if they can't survive, they're going to have to move back. And so it's a natural filtering process that happens voluntarily. You don't need to deport them. You don't need to, say, oh, if you're this type of person, stay out or go back to your country. And it's just there's a natural process of a cultural barrier of, hey, you got to come over here and learn the language and the customs and everything that goes along with Western civilization. You got to learn the principles of voluntarism and economic transactions. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to survive. So you just have to cut out the incentive structures that allows people to come over here and not assimilate and create their cultural enclaves and just demonize the host population and the majority white population. Oh, the evil that they let me come into their 21st century economy and stay here and they give me welfare money. Oh my God. And so you're opening yourself up for exploitation. It's like when you be too nice to a chick that you're trying to bang. She doesn't respect you. She loses all respect for you if you don't have any standards and she starts fucking somebody else and not telling you. But it's about having standards of what you accept. And we here on the Outrage Battleship, we do not accept the growing government and the welfare state. We've got to, Trump has got to sack the fuck up and cut entitlements, dude. If we're ever going to get past this demographic problem and the not assimilating problem and, the increasing insanity of the left and the encroaching Marxism creeping up to the institutions, take away the federal money of the institutions until they fucking kick out some of these Marxist psychopaths. It's all about the federal money, dude. Take away the federal money. Take away the entitlement money. Take away the federal grants to these goddamn colleges. That will cut the incentive structure out from under their feet, dude, and they won't be able to survive. Because there's no fidelity to the market that social justice provides you. Social justice is not valuable to the market. It's only this pandering through the government that they can hand out bribes and remain popular. It's not because the ideas are valid or attractive. It's just bare, reptilian brain in-group preference and like tribalism. Oh, she's wearing a goddamn hijab. I'm voting for her because I'm a Muslim. David says Trump isn't going to sack the fuck up. He's talking about taking guns off of people who get flagged by liberals and hate crime death penalties. Yeah, that's fucking sad, dude. I can't argue against that. That's fucking sad. Trump is at least staving off the cultural Marxist agenda for another 4 years. And after that, we're going to have to actually get somebody in there who has the balls to not only be called a racist by the media, but cut the entitlements. It's got to be done, dude. You got to cut the government excess. And you're only going to get it. The only way it's going to happen is you have to get a principled individual like Ron Paul in there with some goddamn dragon energy. They got to recognize that the state is the root of all of our goddamn problems. But Trump isn't a principled, small market libertarian or small government libertarian. He's not. He's not an anarchist. He's not an anarcho-capitalist, dude. So he's going to justify government power just like most of the other liberals do. But he's going to try to do it to institute his agenda. And it's only going to get him so far. Because you get this badgering back and forth between partisan lines. And they're all, you just end up with these big, omnibus bills that are passed for fucking trillions of dollars, wasting all this fucking money on nothing. So we're going to continue to slide down the well there economically until somebody has a goddamn sack in order to cut the entitlements and wasteful government programs. We just got to make the arguments, dude. Taxation is theft. We got to recognize that the government is not another legitimate part of society. It's a parasite on society. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, 2 hours, 30 minutes in. I think it was a good, successful endeavor here with the daytime stream. I had a good goddamn time. All right. We'll do this this week and see how it goes. PayPal.me/Outrage TV if you want to contribute to the stream. All right. The more you contribute, the more free time I'm going to have in the middle of the day to come on here and, schedule streams whenever I goddamn want. And I'll get me off of the streets out here having to do the Postmates to rack up rent shekels and everything, ladies and gentlemen. PayPal.me/Outrage TV. All right. Contribute super chats if you like, ladies and gentlemen. I love coming on here and hanging out with the Outrage crew. But fundamentally, we're trying to grow it. We're trying to be compensated for the arguments, for the dedication, for the time, for the consistency. All right. So if you like the stream, hit that like button. Share it out if you can't donate. All right. Hit that like button and share it out and make the arguments in your own life and spread the arguments to the people in your circle. All right. We can have a grassroots goddamn revolution that's not through government power. It's through the force and will of your arguments. Share that stream out. Hit that like button if you like it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to post the full podcast audio at on all the podcast apps under Outrage Cast, all one word. All right. If something makes you laugh on the stream, feel free to clip it out and send it to me at nickjordan84@gmail.com. I'll post it up on the Outrage playlist clips there, the live stream clips on the playlist on the homepage. All right. We'll get some new viewers in here with the shorter clips with the short and potent dragon energy. Hope you'll have a beautiful rest of your Wednesday here. Get out there and kick some ass. All right, I'm going to get up on stage at Fourth Wall. We're going to make it happen. I might go to the gym. Yet to be determined, ladies and gentlemen. I love all the Outrage crew. I'll catch y'all tomorrow.